moving on to the story mode. Woo boy. Boy howdy. I'm
uh,
struggling to comprehend just how bad the Mortal Kombat story was. Cause it starts so strong. It starts so strong with um old characters, and new roles, and you have this new takes on old characters, and you have a mysterious figure trying to turn the now docile villains back into their old selves, and it's very interesting. Because Liu Kang became the keeper of time. He restarted the timeline, but then he relinquished the powers of being a keeper of time and just became the essentially the Raiden of the universe, trying to make sure
right.
that Mortal Kombat wars don't start or whatever. And it's really cool. And it's a new take on all of these characters in a new world. And then they ruined it immediately. Um, they they blew their multiversal load in the first game. Like,
I remember you saying that on Twitter.
yeah, I forgot you followed me on Twitter. Yeah, I made a whole thread about it. I was upset.
You did, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this on the podcast.
The ending felt like it was straight out of a completely different game, but low key a game that would have been dope if it was its own game and not shoved into the last hour. I'm not joking when I say everything I'm about to talk about was in the last hour of a like 10-hour game. It
Oh,
was
yuck.
ridiculous. So there was like at the end you fight like these amalgamations of other characters, um, where they have like multiple movesets from multiple different characters, similar to like in Street Fighter Six, how you can create your own character and that you play through the story mode, you can get moves and from the other Street Fighter characters for your custom
Mhm.
character, and you can also fight other custom characters online. It felt like that, and that's cool. That would be great for its own game, but they just shoved it into the last hour of this one. Like all the ideas that show up in this game are good by themselves, but they just don't work in this. Like in the DLC of Mortal Kombat 11, Liu Kang and Shang Tsung fought over the hourglass that controls time. Do you mind if I spoil the story?
No, I don't
Okay,
care.
so spoiler alert for Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 11. So Liu Kang and Shang Tsung fought over the hourglass that controls time, and you could choose who you played as and who got depending on who you played as and one got you got a different ending. But it turns out that both endings are canon, whereas before it seemed
Oh,
like just Liu Kang's ending was canon. So there's another universe where Shang Tsung won, and he's trying to invade this universe, and that's who the mysterious figure that's trying to turn all the villains who Liu Kang made either docile or good guys back into villains. And the reveal happened like around the last hour point, and then from there on it just went off the rails. And it became this big multiversal story, and I'm talking I'm talking about like Avengers Endgame type stuff. They're trying to shove into the last hour of this game,
uh, oh no.
and I'm like, all of it is like this is so like it's cool on paper, but when I tell you for the last 15 minutes of the game, because if I press the PlayStation button, it tells me how much longer I had. It said 15 minutes, and I was like, good God, that 15 minutes felt like 30. I was like,
Oh
I was like,
man.
please, please just end. What are you doing to me, Mortal Kombat? I'm dumbfounded. I'm
Flabbergasted.
flabbergasted, bamboozled. I,
Appalled.
I'm just so confused because you advertise this as the beginning of a new era. You have the opportunity to do all of these new, cool, interesting takes on all these characters, and there's a lot of new, cool, interesting takes of these characters. For example, Ermac, the red ninja.
Right.
He's a collection of a bunch of souls in a body. In this, one of the souls in the body, again, like I said, spoilers. So spoiler again, just in case you didn't catch it the first time. Um, one of the souls in the body is the father of Melina and Katana, and
Oh
the
wow.
husband of Sindel, who always is dead before the story starts in Mortal Kombat games, and he's dead again. He was assassinated, and but his soul was in Ermac, and his soul takes over Ermac. So King Jared is now Ermac, and I'm like, that's a cool, different take on that character. Now you have this Ermac is now he starts off as a villain as the usual evil Ermac, but then King Jared's soul takes over. Now he's a hero, and Ermac is a good guy. Very interesting take on that character. It's dope. It happens really fast though, like kind of unceremoniously, but it was still interesting.
Mhm.
But I now understand why it happened so fast because of that last hour. And it's like
Uh,
they have a lot of really cool ideas that just kind of just get thrown at the
All
wall.
flat. Yeah.
Um, and like the idea of like Shang Tsung being like it being two timelines that actually did happen, and Shang Tsung trying to like invade this timeline makes sense. The problem is that should have been revealed at it should have been like Liu Kang and his team defeat the that universe of Shang Tsung, which is trying to being turned evil again to try and take over the universe for the other Shang Tsung. They defeat them, and then at the very end, it's revealed that it was the other Shang Tsung that has his own universe that's trying to invade this universe, and now he has whatever he needs to do so. And next game is going to be them trying to stop that, right?
Right.
Instead of it all happening in the last hour of this game, them defeating him and all of it happened in the last hour of this game is very unceremonious. I would have had
So
that be the second game. And here's where I feel like sometimes, like, I think I'm not, like, I don't have a lot of experience writing because I'm a little afraid of it. But I feel like I have a lot of good ideas that I need to, like, actually start to actually get out properly. Um, but, like, the way I would have done it is, like I said, the second game would have been that instead of the last hour of this game. And also, that whole multiversal stuff would not have happened in this game either. All that stuff that happened in the end, what I talk about, that was kind of like Street Fighter 6, that would be safe
right.
for the third game because towards the end of this game, which what would happen is the war starts, but after a while they realize nobody like it's not helping anyone, and they come to a truce and they do the thing that Mortal Kombat has always been about, the Mortal Kombat tournament. The Mortal Kombat tournament in the original games is it happens because Shao Kahn wants to go around absorbing the different realms and become the king of all of the realms. Um, and to do that, he has to win 10 Mortal Kombat tournaments in a row to invade
Right.
Earth, and he hasn't been able to do it. So of course, he forces it eventually and tries to invade anyway. But what you do is, okay, there's this big war because it turns out there actually is multiple, um, not just Shang Tsung and Liu Kang universes. There's a version of the universe where every single playable Mortal Kombat character like took control of the hourglass and they became the keeper of time. So there are at least as many universes as there are playable Mortal Kombat characters.
Which is a lot.
Exactly. So dozens, which is interesting. So instead, it should be like, okay, to make this fair, let's do Mortal Kombat tournament again. This time to decide who gets to invade instead of realms, timelines. So you bring it back to where it all started, Mortal Kombat
Right.
tournaments, and now you have a reason to have a tournament and have these characters fight again. And now you've established once again in this new universe there's a Mortal Kombat tournament again, but it's different because now it's for the universe, it's for the multiverse, it's for the different timelines. And then in the
See,
third game, that's when you bring in the idea of now that it's multiversal, you create a custom character from one of these universes that fights in the tournament, and then they fight a lot of the other amalgam characters that you fought at the end of because the amalgam character is really cool. It was like I'm talking like Kung Lao combined with Raiden throwing his hat and shooting lightning. It was really cool, but it's like
sounds cool.
it was very rushed, and it feels like this is an idea they have for another game that they're like I don't know what happened. There has to be a really good reason why they did this. And maybe it's because they're working on some other big project that just took priority and kind of forced them to rush this. Because honestly, I'm really confused on why they did it this way. Because they like the content they showed in this was 3 games worth of content that would have been really cool, like I just described. The second one, they're trying to stop Shang Tsung from invading, and then they established a new tournament. And in the third game, it's a created character that's going through the tournament that you can go around and like Street Fighter 6 it can be like you explore areas in like an open world third person setting because that's something that they've done in these Mortal Kombat games. They have this thing called the crypt where you can
Hmm.
explore a area walking around in third person. In the Mortal Kombat X it was first person, but in 11 it was third person, so being able to do that, but similar to Street Fighter 6, which Street Fighter 6's story mode is actually inspired by something that Mortal Kombat did back in the 3D era, where they had something similar but not as advanced as what Street Fighter 6 has. But in Street Fighter 6 you can walk up to anybody in the street and just fight them. So if Mortal, like legit, it's hilarious. So if they did that but for a Mortal Kombat game, like with the third game, like took inspiration from Street Fighter 6, it would have been dope. And I'm like, it's like I'm even struggling right now to explain all of the ideas I have because I'm like I can see so many different directions this could have went, other
Hmm.
than the horrible one that it did. Because the story, honestly, the first half of the story is amazing, and then it nosedives. I guess at least the gameplay is good. Because at the end of the day, it's a fighting game, and it's gonna live and die based on that, and how good it is beyond that. But for a person like me who plays these games mostly for the story, it's just disappointing. It's so sad. There also is no good justification for making. I don't know if I told you this, but like Scorpion is in this isn't Hanzo Hasashi. It's Kuai Liang, who is the second Sub Zero. After Bihan dies and become Noob Saibot, Kuai Liang becomes Sub Zero. And instead, what they did was make him Scorpion, and they're brothers.
Right.
And what's interesting, that is something that should have came up later in the second game, is that Bihan, of course, becomes evil because that's just his thing. Um, and what's happening now is that usually the what do they call it, what is their clan? The Lin Kuei, the Sub Zero's clan, is an offshoot of the Shirai Ryu, which is Scorpion's clan. A member of the Shirai Ryu leaves that clan and goes in and creates the I just said their name. What did I say?
I don't remember.
Lin Kuei. Yeah,
Right.
because I'm confusing Kuai Liang and Lin Kuei. The Lin Kuei. But in this one, it's the other way around because the Bihan, the evil Sub Zero, took over the Lin Kuei and made them evil again. Scorpion, who is Kuai Liang, goes off and creates the Shirai Ryu, which is interesting and a different take on that. Again, another interesting, different take on characters in the universe, but the way they do, like everything surrounding it, is just weird. I really wanted to like this story so bad because the last stories have been good. They've been flawed, but ultimately it's just been really dumb, fun action movies. Whereas this one is not a dumb, fun action movie for me. It's just a bad action. Well, actually, the reason it's bad is because it's good. It's more than just a dumb, fun action movie at the beginning. It's a generally really good action movie. There's this whole scene where you play as Johnny Cage as he's filming basically an Indiana Jones ripoff, and you just straight up play the movie. Like you go through the cutscenes and then you fight the monsters that he fights in the movie. It's really cool. And then they go cut and show a cutscene. They're like, oh, it's all a movie, which was obvious from the beginning because it's shot for shot Raiders of the Lost Ark. And it's really cool. Like it's a legitimately really good like story, and then it just gets horrible. It's so disappointing. That's all.
Disappointing.
I had to go on that rant. I can't believe it. Truly.
You're real. You're real.
Like I really thought this would just be such a slam dunk. I'm glad I played it. It was fun because, like I said, the story was good for a while, and the gameplay is fun. Ultimately, I'm gonna have fun playing this with friends and online at least, and I'm excited for the DLC character. So
Right.
at least that part's good. At least the actual combat part of Mortal Kombat is fun. F the story isn't. And they set up some stuff for the future that I'm just like, okay, I guess this should have been the fourth game, but sure. I'm so upset. It's very disappointing. If you watch like some YouTube video of someone playing the story mode, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's honestly insane. I can't believe it.
Also, I heard the Switch port sucked.
Oh, it's
Like,
horrible.
Yeah.
There's literally faces don't move.
Yeah, I saw.
It's crazy. That game should not have been on Switch.
Yeah.
They did it because Mortal Kombat 11 sold really, really well on Switch. That's why, despite every other version of this game being next-gen exclusive, this one is on Switch. Maybe the whatever the next console is version will be better.
I hope so.
Like that port will be better. We'll see. If they even feel like putting in the time to change it, which they might.
Right.
Not. I hope the next game they make is not Mortal Kombat. Or if it is Mortal Kombat, like it's because they're doing something new, like a new Shaolin Monks, which was like a God of War type game. Like
Right.
if the story was bad because they were doing that and that has a good story, then I'm like, okay, you know what?
I forgive it.
I forgive you. But if it's because you're just making another fighting game, if it's DC versus Mortal Kombat, I'll forgive. But if it's just Injustice or another Mortal Kombat, I'll be upset. It has to be something different and really good.
Real.